Hello and welcome to the Sobirov's Law Firm weekly live show on Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Greetings from Toronto. My name is Rahmat Sobirov. We have a great presentation today for you, so stay tuned, don't go far away. Welcome.
Just a quick reminder before we start. Please note that whatever you hear in these live sessions or any content you see on social media by Sobirov's Law Firm is general information only and not legal advice. While we may use certain real-life scenarios or legal cases for learning purposes, it is important to remember that this does not constitute a legal opinion. For personalized legal advice, please consult with your lawyer or hire a Canadian immigration lawyer. Now, let's get back to our show.
Today we will be talking about golden visa, the concept of golden visa and how it applies to Canada. But before we delve into that topic with a presentation, let me bring two pieces of news that must be very interesting for you in terms of business immigration. Number one comes from Ontario. Ontario has welcomed an almost $19 million investment, manufacturing investment, related to a company called Bread Source Corporation. Why this is relevant, taking into account the geopolitical aspects of grain and wheat production, Canada is becoming a true bread basket of the world. We are producing wheat, we are exporting wheat, and this is an indication of how this area of the economy will be going very active in the future. And as you can see, Bread Source Corporation expansion will create more jobs in Scarborough, Ontario. Always take into account the geopolitical aspects of immigration too. You know what's going on in Ukraine and what the problems with Russia and exporting wheat to the world markets. And Canada again is becoming the bread basket of the world. Second piece of news comes from one of the biggest banks in Canada, Desjardins. They have an economic analysis and they published it recently. I suggest that you go and read this piece because it's very relevant about the newcomers, the number of newcomers Canada needs in the near future. They are suggesting having more immigrants to Canada, around 2.2% of the Canada's population. At the moment, we are expecting around 1% of the population in terms of immigration. This economic viewpoint, the report that you can see in PDF, is suggesting higher number of immigrants coming to Canada. The reason being is that the aging population, the retiring population needs to be replaced by a tax-paying working population so that the retirement needs and the retirement services could be provided successfully. So it's way into the future, but it's very important to keep in mind that in Canada, immigration is not going down anytime soon. So there will be boosts in immigration. If anything, it's not going down. So keep in mind that second piece of news. We will leave the links on these pieces under the description of our video. So check out those descriptions. All right, now before we go into the presentation, I invite you to send me your questions. So the first part of the weekly live show is usually my presentation, about 10 slides, and then we go to your questions. So don't hesitate to send me your questions. So let's get started.
Are you constantly on the move, managing your business, and looking for a convenient way to stay informed about expanding your business to Canada? Look no further. Introducing Speaking of Canada, the podcast that keeps you in the loop on all things related to Canadian business immigration, delivering the latest news and valuable tips and captivating interviews, no matter how busy your schedule gets. Speaking of Canada has got you covered.
Welcome to today's show, and the topic is golden visa. How to get a golden visa, quote unquote, in Canada. So we will be generally speaking about the concept of golden visa as applies to many other countries around the world. And also we will try to answer, does Canada have a golden visa? So, if you have any questions related to that, you should ask them during the live session, or you always feel we are always here to help you with a consultation if you go to sobirovs.com website to book one for yourself. All right, today's topic. Let's start with what is Golden Visa. Okay, what is Golden Visa that many people talk? Usually I get this question from my clients, potential clients, saying, can I buy a residency in Canada? Can I buy a Canadian passport? Because the Golden Visa concept is so dominant in immigration or relocation or global mobility sectors that people automatically assume that Canada also has a Golden Visa option. For example, US has a Golden Visa, quote unquote, EB5. All you have to do is give your money. So the Golden Visa program as such, also known as investor visa sometimes, residency by investment, citizenship by investment, you see different kind of terminology in this sector. This offers foreign individuals and their families the opportunity to obtain permanent residency or citizenship of a certain country. Residency and citizenship is done in exchange of your money. So the concept is very straightforward. In a nutshell, it says, give me your money, I'll give you the residency. Many countries do that. And if you know those countries, please leave a comment and let's discuss. Those countries are doing a great job advertising it around the world. All they ask is your money, nothing else. Money as a direct investment, or sometimes they require you to purchase a real estate, right? Purchasing a real estate is an option in such countries as Turkey and other, like Antigua and Barbuda, as you know. The main feature is that you give money or invest your money. That's the main feature of Golden Visa. Some processes are short and fast. Some of them, they require additional steps to succeed in that Golden Visa. Focusing on Canada, Canada is more about more than money, okay? It's not just investing money, it's investing money into a business, running the business for some time, and then you get a chance for a permanent residency. There's no direct access to citizenship. So if you describe a Golden Visa, if you use that terminology of Golden Visa with respect to Canada, make sure that you understand this is Canada wants milestones. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Canada doesn't give a direct access to citizenship through just mere investing the money, okay? There was a program called Quebec Investor Immigration Program that is now currently on hold until January 2023. It was criticized significantly because that concept was about giving money and waiting for your PR without doing anything, technically anything. The program was criticized very heavily because there were some shortcomings of the programs. Now it's on pause, and when it's reinstated, when it's restarted it will be restarted in 2024. I expect it will be heavily modified version of the program. So in a nutshell, Canada does not have its classic understanding of Golden Visas, okay? Now, if there is something that resembles Golden Visa concept, it is either federal programs or provincial programs. So here's a list of federal programs that can come a bit closer to the concept of Golden Visa. Because intra-company transfer, for example, is designed for individuals who are transferring to Canadian branch or related company. And then once they come, work, get some experience, they may go with permanent residency. There's a pathway in that scenario. Startup visa program, I think, is the closest you can get to that classic understanding of Golden Visa. That's geared towards entrepreneurs who wish to start or invest in innovative businesses in Canada. Basically, a startup, if you have a startup concept, come here and start to establish your startup. You can, at the moment, you can get apply for permanent residency, which is ultimately the goal of many startup visa applicants. In the meantime, you can get a 3-year open work permit for startup founders, okay? This is the closest, I think, in my mind, that gets very, has some elements of golden visa if we compare to other countries. Entrepreneur visa, again, a milestone base. You come, establish a business or purchase a business, you run that business to a certain extent, and then you actively manage that business, and then you can consider going for permanent residency. LMIA work permit programs, for entrepreneurs can be devised or built in a way that you can ultimately get a permanent residence in Canada. So this allows foreign entrepreneurs to work in Canada while managing their own businesses, like owner-operator type and so on. So these are 4 main federal level programs that resemble, that have some elements of a golden visa as we see in other countries. Also, we have provinces. This concept of provinces being active in immigration is unique to Canada, I think. I haven't seen in the United States, for example, the federal government manages all the immigration, but in Canada, provincial government also is very active in immigration field. So as you can see, Alberta, almost all the provinces and territories in Canada have some kind of entrepreneur investment, running business type of programs, excuse me, which are generally referred to as provincial nominee program. So the provinces of Canada have created entrepreneurial streams or sector by sector streams where you can benefit by running a business in Canada, then ultimately being nominated by the province to the federal government that they want you to become a permanent resident. So that's a nomination type. It's mostly driven by provinces' activities. So if province is happy with your performance, they will nominate you and you will get permanent residence. So that's the concept of, I would call it, provincial golden visa pathways and programs. You can see all these program by program information on our website. Sobirovs.com is your friend, is your destination to get the most information on these streams and programs. Now let's analyze, let's touch base on the facts and myth and truth about golden visas when it comes to Canada. Facts about Canada's golden visa. It's false to assume that citizenship is given to you right away. As I said, you have to perform, you have to do certain activities, invest money, and then you get permanent residence. Permanent residence is not citizenship. Many other countries around the world, they offer citizenship in exchange for your money. Not the case in Canada. So citizenship is not given to you right away. There's a process, there's a milestone. Usually it starts with a work permit, then goes to permanent residency. You need to live in Canada for a certain amount of time. Usually it's 3 years, 1,095 days, which is roughly 3 years. And then you apply for citizenship. So that's false fact number 1. Second, financial investment is the only requirement. No, financial investment is one of several requirements. So you invest money, you run your business, you do other steps, then you reach permanent residency. There's another false belief that your family cannot come with you. If you do those steps, if you go with federal or provincial nominee programs, yes, you can bring your family with you. While the process is going, your family can benefit from Canada's healthcare, from Canada's free public education, and so on. All the good things that Canada offers, you can benefit from them while your process is ongoing. Now let's focus on true facts. I believe it's a reliable path towards permanent residence and citizenship. If you do things right, if you plan things right, step by step, milestone after milestone, you will achieve the goal of becoming a Canadian permanent resident or Canadian citizen. It's very doable project. It's a life project, yes. It's a faster as compared to the United States or other programs around the world. It's quite a reliable pathway. It requires a long-term investment commitment. Yes, that's true too. It's not a project that you can finish in 6 months or 8 months. There is a process. But if you compare to other developed countries such as the United States, the EB-5 process is quite time consuming too. So don't expect a quick result in short period of time. It's a long-term investment and long-term commitment. And the true fact number 3 is each golden visa program has its set of requirements. Okay, I'm giving you general understanding about the programs, but you have to dig into each program depending on your immigration goals, how to achieve those goals, and each program has its own set of milestones and requirements. Okay, now how do you prepare yourself for Canadian golden visa? I'm still using the concept of golden visa because that's easy for you to understand. So step number 1, research and choose the right program. Yes, you can apply to multiple programs at the same time. It requires double effort or triple effort and investment, but researching and choosing the right program from the beginning helps you to save your money and your time. Number 2, prepare the required documents. Yes, the business immigration programs you can do on your own, but it's very complex. You need a legal advisor, an experienced immigration lawyer next to you to go with the documents, to analyze the documents and address the shortcomings in your background. When you are ready, step number 3, submitting the application. Again, here, remember, submitting to permanent residence is one way, and in the meantime, while the permanent residence is being processed, consider submitting for a work permit too. So that's number 3. Number 4, there might be in certain programs, there might be interviews, there might be other steps, minor steps. So be prepared for that. Of course, biometrics, if you haven't submitted biometric information in the last 10 years, you will have to submit, and people in your family will have to submit too. Number 5, you will wait for your decision. Depending on what applications you submitted, whether it's PR only or PR in combination with work permit. So there's a wait period too. So be patient, work with your lawyer and understand what are the expectations. As I said, it's not a quick solution usually. It takes time, it takes preparation. Number 6, when everything is done, usually you get a work permit, you come to Canada. Number 7, operate your business in Canada. And then you get the next stage, which is a permanent residency. By that time, while you're operating a business, you have certain options, maybe provincial nomination program, maybe LMIA-based job offer, which increases your point. So that's all in step number 7, and you apply and obtain permanent residency. So these 8 steps are, they stop at permanent residency. Once you obtain permanent residency, the phase of obtaining Canadian citizenship is a matter of time. As long as you live in Canada and don't commit crime, you probably will get Canadian citizenship in due course. Okay? An interesting fact is that your time spent while you are on a work permit, while you're preparing yourself and running your business, that time is also calculated towards your citizenship residency period for up to 1 year. Okay, so it's credited towards your permanent residency, towards the citizenship eligibility. As I said, it's 1,095 days, so that's also credited towards that calculation. Okay, the processing time and cost of Canadian Golden Visa. In our experience, the processing time for a Golden Visa programs is usually 2 to 4 months to get a work permit. So work permit is usually the initial stage of your Canadian journey. An investment ranging from 250 to 350,000, depending on the sector, depending on location, depending on the industry. is typically required for a golden visa in Canada as a foreign entrepreneur or investor. So have the right expectations. I think this is a realistic, of course it can go a little bit lower or a little bit higher, but the overall general amount that will help you to make the right expectations is this amount between $250 to $350,000. And family members and golden visa. As I mentioned, family members are allowed to come with the main applicant. The spouse can get either a open work permit, or if the spouse wants to study, they can get a study permit too. Children's up to the age of 22 and unmarried, they can accompany their parents. They will get their own either a work permit or study permit depending on their age. All right. Benefits of Canadian Golden Visa. Many people consider what do I get if I go to Canada? So one thing is you can ultimately get permanent residence and pathway to Canadian citizenship. Canada's passport is valued as one of the top strong passports in the world. You can check one of the most desired passports in the world. Access to healthcare and social services. That's very important. Many of my clients, they consider that as an important factor of coming to Canada. A free healthcare system, although with some challenges, I understand, and free public education for their kids is also a priority. And when you hire a foreigner, you pay Canadian wages. That's I think it's not necessarily a benefit, but if you hire a foreign worker, you pay Canadian wages. Business and employment opportunities. When you are permanent resident, you have all the rights and privileges of almost a citizen. Okay, you cannot participate in elections, but you get all the opportunities as a permanent resident. Education and quality of life. I mentioned that earlier, the education for your children, for their future, and the quality of life that you have in Canada is one of the best in the world, almost second to none. All right, this is the end of my presentation. How we can help you. Sobirov's law firm can devise your immigration strategy from the start to finish. We specialize in comprehensive business immigration solution. We create this strategy, we implement the strategy with you, and we adjust your strategy as the law changes, immigration law changes from time to time. We adjust it accordingly. If you want an honest opinion from our experienced lawyers, you're always welcome to book an appointment with us with no obligation to hire us. If you don't get any value during our strategy meeting, we will refund the cost of the meeting to you. So don't worry, it may be very free for you. Okay, now follow us on different social media channels, and I'm happy to answer your questions right now. Please type your questions and we'll bring it to the screen. In the meantime, let's see if we have any questions here.
To stay updated on all things related to Canadian business immigration, check us out on social media. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter for the latest news and updates. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell to stay informed about the most recent immigration news, interviews with top immigration specialists, and our weekly live shows. Visit our website at www.sobirovs.com for more information or to book a consultation with our team of experts.
Okay, one of the questions that I usually receive is biometrics. What is biometrics? How long does it take to get a biometrics? Biometrics is a part of the process. No matter what kind of visa you apply for, usually if you haven't submitted biometrics before, so if you are a first-time applicant for any type of Canadian visa, the system generates biometric request letter automatically. And then you have to go to a visa application center, VFS or VAC, to submit your fingerprints and your photo. And those who are at the age of 14 or above, they will have to submit biometrics. And biometrics data is kept on the Canadian side and it's valid for 10 years. So that's one answer that I would give. Biometrics letter is not a guarantee that your visa will be approved. It's part of the process. Usually, without a biometric data, the visa officers don't make a decision. So biometric data is sent to them, uploaded in the system, and then they make a decision about your application. Okay, also another question that I received is, what happens if my business venture that I invested and I obtained successfully, I obtained my permanent residence, but my business fails? Well, that's the reality of business world. Some business fail, some business survive for 5 years and then fail. So you're usually, in most cases, and almost all cases, even the startup visa program, the success of your business does not affect your permanent residency. Okay, once you obtain your permanent residence, it stays with you, and the government will not say, "Oh, you failed your business," or denounce your permanent residency. It's not the case, and you shouldn't worry once you get your permanent residency. Okay, I think that's it for today. I will wait for you to join me again next Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Toronto time. If you have any questions, leave your questions in the comment section under this video, and my team will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for participating. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.